It's train time, starting now, right after this small intro.
In compliance with COPA, this video is not for children under the age of 14. Your discretion is advised. Sponsored by Canadian Model Railroad.ca and by donations from patrons like you. Further support provided by miniprint.ca. Make your layout come alive with the 3D creation of miniprint.ca. Now on with the show with your hosts, Peter and Joe.
Well, Joe, what time is it?
I guess it's train time.
Yeah,
September.
September 2022.
That's main number 33.
33.
Yeah.
Yes. Third season.
Yep. And we have today something pretty special, Peter.
Yes, we have Peter Hess.
Yes, Peter Hess is from Corte Madera, California.
Ah, yes.
And we have 3 parts for the 3 months about his Toledo terminal line layout,
Right.
which is about steel mills.
Steel mills, that's right.
It's divided on 3 sections.
Yep.
It's an O gauge
Okay.
terminal, and the whole layout is totally animated.
Oh, good.
So it's very beautiful layout. It's situated in a room that is 44 feet by 14 feet, and it's got 3 levels.
Okay.
So he has spent a lot of time over the years working on that layout, and it's definitely something that can be shared with our viewer because it's worth to be shared.
Yeah.
So next to that, we have the photo of the month, the view from above,
Right.
and then we'll have our closing as usual.
Mm-hmm.
The show might be a little shorter this time.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's not wait on the first part of Peter Hess Toledo Terminal Lines video.
Let's
right
go check
now.
out the steel mill.
That's right.
Hello,
Enjoy.
my name is Peter Hess. Welcome to the first set of videos on the Toledo terminal lines. Before we start the video tour, let me give you some details about the layout. The Toledo terminal line is an O-gauge layout located in Corte Madera, California, about 1.5 miles from the San Francisco Bay and 2.5 miles from the Pacific Ocean. The layout is a mature one. It's 30 years old. It's a double dog bone design, walk-in in a 44 by 14 foot room. There is a 660 foot main line with 13 spurs, 1 yard, with many of the trackage in double tracks on 3 levels of operation. There is a maximum 33% grade, allowing for continuous and operational enjoyment. The power is using Lionel command control with 2 ZW transformers, but I'm also using about 3 dozen power transformers from the size of between 12 and 3.5 volts AC and DC. All the track and turnouts is by Ross with a minimum of 72-inch radii. Motive power is typically Lionel Legacy or third rail Sunset. The design theory for the layout is following the principles of Frank Ellison's Delta lines, but adding animation and sound, making it much more enjoyable. The Toledo terminal line is super detailed and museum quality construction. I force perspective and include detail in depth. I direct visitors look down viewing aisles where they see at least 3 layers of details. I use my Master's of Engineering education and process design training I received in college, University of Toledo, by the way, and my experience with heavy industry to develop the layout. I also use schematics and design drawings from Making, Shaping, and Treating of Steel and the Library of Congress. My theory is make it as detailed as possible, and you can do that in 1/48-inch scale. Toledo Terminal Lines is Toledo, Ohio, set in 1935. That's post-Prohibition, but still in the Depression era. The layout is in 4 basic areas. They are a pre-World War II blast furnace complex, steel making, rolling, and forging operations, and 2 sets of the Toledo Red Light District with numerous assorted industries connected by scratch-built bridges. Now, let's go look at the blast furnace complex. Iron making is done at the Toledo Furnace Company Blast Furnace Marcella that is set in a 1924 construction time frame. Everything is scratch built. The furnace is 52 inches tall. The complex encompasses some 80 square feet, and that is the stoves, the blower house, the blast furnace, and lines leading up to it. The Ohio design furnace has a hearth diameter of a scale 27 feet with details from the making, shaping, and treating of steel. Details include electrochemical lighting of the slag and iron runners. Note the water cooler pipes and the accuracy of those on the furnace. The mud gun and the slag boat on runners, and they are steam powered. Of course, the time frame is given away by the lack of protective coating of the operators. There is a scratch-built crane to assist in the operation of the furnace, and there's lighted slag and bottle cars. They're lighted with LCD lights. I want to call your attention to the accurately designed top works, and please note the operating small and large bell levers. The animation of these levers is the first time this has been done to my knowledge, and this was done by the use of a high torque 1 RPM 12 volt AC motor and gears. The cables on the skip hoists are also animated, And unfortunately, the skip car hoist is not currently animated because it's one heck of an engineering feat to do that in 1/48 scales. Note the muted interior lights and the off angle of all the structures. None of the structures is facing 90 degrees to the viewer. Again, forcing the viewer to look down certain aisles and then having the viewer notice the details. Now turning our eyes to the ancillaries of the blast furnace complex. You can see the steam accumulator building and the pipe aisles, or pipe alleys really, which really tie together the various buildings in the blast furnace complex. The slag runners are accurate, the water valves are accurate, and of course the furnace itself. Turning down in the back, you will see the Scheibe wet cap scrubber to remove large particulate matter, and the Cottrell two-phase electrostatic precipitator. The scrubber and the precipitator won first prize for structures in the O-scale National Convention held in Santa Clara County a few years ago. Turning to my pride and joy, the blower house. To my knowledge, a blower house has not been constructed like this ever. I enjoy making it. The blower house has 30 moving pieces, all powered by one 12-volt DC motor connected by various shafts and cams. Of course, the blower engine are gas-fired tandem engines that forces air through the stoves. Now moving on, the air coming out of the blower house and the quantity being regulated by very accurate valves being constructed. I do like making hand-powered valves. I think it shows a degree of design difficulty that is very important. It even includes the pressure gauges on the valves. Looking at the 4 3-pass stoves that heat the hot blast, one of the stove is set on blast, while the others are on heat. I very much enjoyed the circa 1924 pyrometer valve complex that I recently constructed. Again, these are hand-powered valves in the 1924-1935 era that is preceding any automatic valves. Also note the pipe alleys of the complex. Again, everything is scratch built, and it was very enjoyable building it. Now the next video that I'll make will be on the making of the steel and the rolling and forming operations. Until the
Well,
next
I guess,
video,
Peter,
Bob.
Very nice piece.
yeah. And the two others are as beautiful as this one. Excuse me. So, it's an enjoyment to see layout like that
Mhm.
on the show. We certainly will have to have some more on season 4.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Hopefully we can get some more submissions like that.
Yes.
It's nice to share other people's layouts with the viewing audience.
And if it's in a drivable distance from where we are, we don't mind to go on locations to
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to let us know
Yep.
that you have a layout that you want to be featured.
Mhm.
So now is the photo of the month.
Enjoy.
Ever wanted to take a nostalgic trip back to the steam era? Through the Window of a Train is the book for you. Or go back into history with the Memory of the Moonlight specials. Through the Window of a Train for $19.95, or Memory of the Moonlight specials for $21.95, or 4 limited time offers. You can get both books signed for only $39.95 plus shipping. Order now.
Yeah, another good piece.
Yes, matter of fact, it was.
Yes.
And we still have a lot more photo to feature.
Yes.
We're okay till the end of next year's, that's for sure. Anyway, now we'll have the view from above. It's submitted by Dan Shettle.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot of compliment on that, so let's go see the view from above.
Yes.
always loved that segment.
Yes. We'll have to, now that we've acquired our own little drone to practice with, we'll have to learn to fly.
Yeah. And then at that point, do some video of our own with it. It's a matter of learning.
Yes.
We got some time to do that.
Yeah.
During my recovery, which I'm still on,
Yep.
I have been painting a lot of 3D mini print figure.
Oh, yes. Yes, you've been
So-
very busy.
Next show, I will bring them to show at that point what we did with them.
Yep.
And one of the pieces that being painted is the one that come with the police car from Rapido
Right.
at OVR.
Yep.
You know, the cops and the robbers and
Yes.
all that. So some of those figures are very intricate to paint,
Yes, you've done a nice job on those.
but take time.
Oh, yes.
Well, I had the time, so that was good. During that, you were working with the guys upstairs.
Yep.
And making a lot of headways. So,
And now you're doing a lot better after your medical issues and
yeah. So now the only thing that's left back to do is to gain weight again, which is okay. Maybe another 10, 20 pounds, that would be all right, but not more than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we certainly like to get some suggestions in regards of how would you like the Christmas issue to be done. That kind of be nice. This year's we will not have done the Mega Train show. Well, it's for many reasons in there because I will not be yet in shape to go and do
on
8 to
site
10 hours.
filming.
No, not yet. So it will have to wait. So what been accomplished upstairs so far is a good portion of the Rockies who are on their halfway points as far as being built. Some tunnels already have been put together. We intend to bring you a video probably in December about where we're at with that Rockies and so on. The track crew has finalized finally all the tracks.
Yes, I believe the last piece was they had to redo the grade on Main 2 over coming out of Alberta into the Rockies.
Oh, I see.
And it was a little too steep of a grade, and so now it's I think it's averaging around the 2% grade.
Well, that's not a problem.
Yeah, there's some higher grade and some relief spots, but it's basically, I think, averages about a 2% grade now. So
that will run easier.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. So I do believe that the Transcona Museum have made some headways.
Yeah, apparently they've broken ground on their shelter.
Okay.
But they are still fundraising. I forget the exact number. They had a good portion of what they needed for the shelter, but I think they've got a long ways to go yet. So there's still fundraising. So if you're willing to donate, check out the Transcona Museum on our podcast, and
yes, matter of fact, we'll have that little commercial in there about the Transcona. And at the same time, I like to remind the viewers to get the books here.
The
from
books
Barbara
from
Lang.
Yep.
We'll also put the little blurb on that for her. And come visit our website at www.canadianmodelrailroad.ca.
Yes, and we're also on Facebook.
Yes, at the Canadian Model Railroad groups. post pictures, post comments. It's kind of important to us. It give us some directions, and also it bring us some nice pictures that we can feature on the photo of the month. Right now, we are pretty much so as a standstill because we're still looking for some material coming in. We're hoping that the season 4 being full of surprise. So definitely it's time to show the modeling that we're doing.
Yep.
And
we've tried, I think we mentioned this before, we're trying a different technique on the mountains.
yes.
So we'll have to do a little video showing how we've done that.
And so far, by what we did with that new method, it worked real good.
Yeah, it's working well.
So it's kind of pleasing to see that finally we can have a methods that is not messy per se, because a lot of other ways sometimes it's pretty messy doing those mountain, but it's not.
Yeah.
And it's not heavy.
No. We do have to add coats as we go along of plaster compound, but we're also going to be putting in some rock molds and stuff that. So as we're doing that kind of stuff, we're building up the strength of it as well. But
yes,
it's working well with the cardboard framing and the brown paper, and then the plaster casting cloth, and then we do a brush on a thin coat of drywall compound, and now we've gotten to that point. We can now start adding on some rock molds and doing some sculpting of the next layer.
But on the place where there's a lot of trees and that type of thing, you have been yourself putting a whole lot more coating, a brush off of a compound in there, which make it even more solid. So, and then definitely the mountain, and we discovered that it's probably better that you do your tunnel before you do the webbing.
Oh yes, we made that.
So it's learning by doing, but all the inside of the tunnels are totally covered. So when you will get a camera into there, you don't see frameworks, you see tunnels.
You see tunnels, and we've ballasted track inside the tunnels so that when we get to the point of actually running a camera on a train, everything will be ballasted. It won't be.
That's right. So it will look more prototypical. There's some more of those tunnels that got to be built, and quite a few, matter of fact. And then is the start, after we got the rocks all in place and so on, is to build the snow sheds and that, what goes along in there. And it's a section that the last one I believe that it will be finished is the Burton Falls. So then both sides of the Rockies come to that point there, and that's the end of the Rockies.
Yeah, we're still doing some brainstorming as far as what our scenes are going to be. For example, our logging area, we're still kind of kicking ideas around with that one, and that's on the upper level above Burton Falls. But
it has something to do. Well, the camp itself is on 2 levels, but right now it will highly depends how those mountains will come out. And from there we can build the scene in question. Is another place also in the Rockies that now would be changed from the plan a little bit because of what they did with the grade. So there again is a little bit of an adjustment to do, and After that is done, well, is all along the alleyways is that half mountain that goes there, that follow the river. There again is some thinking going along in there, because it's so many things to think about.
But the nice thing or interesting thing about it is, especially you and I, we're bouncing ideas back and forth.
Yep.
And I think kind of the point I'd like to make to anybody that's watching, if you're doing a layout, whether it's a club or with a couple of other people, that brainstorming and throwing ideas back and forth as to what you want to create in the different scenes is kind of the fun side of the planning.
It is, because
you're not doing it all on your own.
No. No, you have a concept to start with. You have a story about it. You starting to build a story, and then is always some transformation happening.
Yeah.
And then you start, like you said, to bounce idea about how to make it better.
Yep.
And the end result of that is you end up having a better layout that you were expecting at first.
Yep.
That's simple as that. And it's always more idea in 2 or 3 heads than only one.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of, it's fun to share those ideas, and makes it far more interesting when you.
I find out on the hobby is a lot of modelers that do not necessarily like to share what they do.
Yep.
And I think personally that it's a mistake, because you learn new tricks, you learn new stuff and so on by sharing. That's how you meet some pretty nice people around too in the hobby.
Yep.
And nobody does it the same way. Nobody's perfect.
Yep.
But nobody's doing a bad job either.
No, and by picking up these little pieces from other people, I think it makes you a better modeler as far as sceneries and stuff go. So.
In the long term it does.
Yeah.
The fact is, some people don't do sceneries. They just run their train. It's fine, In model railroading, there's room for about anything, Peter. Right? There's room for video nowadays. We got the social medias. Is magazine are presently getting obsolete in some ways.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Because people going into YouTubes, they're going into all sort of video and learning some new techniques. Some come from Europe, some come from Australia, some come the United States or Canada. We do not have a show that is like the American have. Americans are highly sponsored on their show, and they're making money at it. I've been asked not long ago, well, how much money are you making with your video? None. Even when you look at our descriptions in there, and it says sponsored by Canadian Model Railroad, which is true, but and by donation from patrons like you. The funny part, we never got a single donation since the day we started.
No, not yet.
And though we had some comments about, well, maybe the sound is not perfect or this or that. No, it won't, because to arrive to total professional publishing of videos, we got to have the professional equipment, which we cannot afford, because everything that had been invested into this project of the video has come out of Peter and I pocket.
Yep.
And
it's an extension of the hobby.
Yes, it's a hobby within the hobby.
Yep.
So yes, let's put the question to rest about how much money we make with the video. We have made none.
Yes.
But we have spent a ton. So it didn't keep us from bringing you as much as we can as far as content is concerned. Canadian video are not highly sponsored by nobody. Certainly, if we had a sponsor, we did do a whole lot more as far as some travelings, better equipment, and so on, so that you have better quality videos. But bear with us, and we're glad that you're there, that you subscribe to our video.
Yes, send in comments, send in submissions of photos or videos, and
They don't send much comments.
no.
So, but we're looking forward to get comments from you guys.
Yep.
So anyway, Peter, I don't know about you, but that's pretty much what I had.
Yes, and we'll just continue on and have fun with what we're doing.
Well, absolutely. And we're hoping that the viewer have fun with their own too.
Yep.
You know. So till next time,
Have fun modeling.
have fun modeling, folks.